Hello YouTube, Dave here again. I wanted to do this video as I guess sort of a preview or a teaser for several of the review videos that I will be working on for the foreseeable future. I've got a bunch of items here that were sent to me for the purposes of doing reviews with, and I received both of these within just the last couple of days. So the first one that I want to talk about here is a company that I'm actually dealing with for the first time, but I have to say they're very pleasant to deal with, very pleasant to exchange emails with, and just seem very genuinely helpful and just great to deal with. So that is Free League or Free League Publishing. And they do quite a few different RPGs, but the one that I was interested in was the Alien role-playing game. So I reached out to them just to see what their policies were for reviewers, and they offered to send me a couple of things. So the first one here is the Alien role-playing game starter set. Now this is a pretty hefty box. This is starter sets are something that I'm always a big fan of. I love collecting them, and this was one that I was really sort of interested and excited about. So the fact that they were willing to send this to me was really awesome. We hadn't discussed specifics. They just said, we send a couple of things your way. And this was, the first thing that I noticed in the box there. So I already had the review video, not review, but I have my unboxing and impressions video already recorded. I may actually go back and change a few things. We'll see how I feel about it. But this is a really, really cool product. It has a 104-page rulebook in it, as well as a scenario and everything. Comes with like 20 dice in there. There's just a lot of goodness packed into this set. But the cool thing is that the rulebook in here is something that can be used or is like a requirement in the replacement of the core rulebook for other published scenarios. So it's kind of a cool way that they did that, because it means that the starter set is still something that can be used beyond just the one adventure that's in here. So I think that's a really, really cool approach to it, and they call these scenarios cinematic scenarios. So there are ones with pre-made characters, and they're meant to be sort of self-contained adventures. But the one in here is really interesting, really cool. And again, I don't want to get too much into it here, but this is something that I am very excited about. And like I said, the video for this should be out on Monday. So that's just a few days from the time that I am recording this. Or if you're watching this after the fact, then should already be out. You can find it on my channel. So that was the first thing that they sent me. The second thing that they sent me was another box set, and this is the Destroyer of Worlds box set. So this is another cinematic scenario. So this is one that you can play with the rulebook from the starter set here, or the core rulebook, but you don't necessarily have to own the core rulebook in order to actually run it, which I think is great, again, because I just like the idea of the starter sets being useful. And this one here seems like it's going to be very interesting again as well. Obviously a thinner box, as you can see here. But this one contains the scenario book, which again is a pretty decent sized book that's supposed to take several sessions to get through, whereas the one in the starter set's meant for sort of like a one-shot. And just a lot of cool stuff in here, I should say, excuse me. So again, another product I'm really looking forward to reviewing. I already recorded the unboxing portion of the video, since I'm, do that and then move on to the actual review portion of it. But again, really, really awesome products, and fantastic artwork in these products as well. For these two box sets, I can say, unless I missed one, it looks like all of the images are actually artwork. They're not just stills from the movies, which, they could have done but didn't, and I appreciate that. So again, awesome stuff. So again, I want to thank Free League Publishing for sending this to me, and I'm really looking forward to getting to know the Alien role-playing game a little more closely. So that was the first company. The other one is, of course, Paizo. So I've been working with them for a while now, and the past summer has sort of been a bit hectic for everyone, obviously. So when I was speaking with their PR representative, he basically offered to send out essentially the last 3 months worth of products, just to sort of catch up on reviews. So I've got some Starfinder stuff and I've got some Pathfinder stuff. I'm going to start with the Starfinder stuff first, just sort of transition from science fiction to science fantasy and then just to pure fantasy. The first thing here, this will probably be one of the first videos that I do a review on, but this is the Flip Tiles Space Station Emergency Expansion Set. So this is, I already did a review for the flip tiles themselves. So these are just some new tiles to add to that give you things like hull breaches, fires, electrical discharges, explosions, crumpled bulkheads. So yeah, it's just something that you can use to expand and build adventures around. It already looks really, really cool. I can't wait to open this up and have a look at it. So this is the Starfinder Space Station Emergency Expansion tile set for Starfinder. All right, I also they also sent this giant starship flip mat. So flip mats, I've done a bunch of videos on them in the past, and they're always among my favorite accessories to collect. And the piezo ones for Starfinder have been awesome for me for just generating or helping to spark some creative energies and to build scenarios around. The first Starfinder adventure that I ever ran was actually one that I just made up or sort of developed on the fly, I guess you could say, based off of looking at one of these flip mats. So the giant starship one here, it's also one of the larger maps, so it has an extra little section to it. You can see it's got that thicker part there. So this is a 27 by 39 inch map as opposed to the standard ones, which I think are 24 by 30. And this just gives you some locations for your giant starship. So again, really, really cool. Looking forward to opening that up and having a closer look at it. So in addition to the maps, there are some adventure path books that they sent as well. I haven't been able to keep up on the adventure paths the way that I wanted to. The last complete one that I got was that I managed to acquire, purchase, was the Dawn of Flame adventure path. So I missed out on the Attack of the Swarm. I do have book 1 of Attack of the Swarm, but I never did manage to get any of the other ones. And I missed out on the conspiracy, like the threefold conspiracy adventure path. But they did send me the first 2 books of the Devastation arc adventure path. Now, what I like about this, and I think the threefold conspiracy might be one as well, but these are just 3-part adventure paths instead of the full 6-part ones that we typically get. Let's see if we get it to. Doesn't quite seem to want to focus there, but anyway, this is number 1 of 3. So the Waking the World Seed. It's also for a higher level group. So this is designed for to begin play with, I think, was it 13th level characters. So this is one that you can do after completing some of the other adventure paths. Like I think the Dead Suns adventure path ends around 13th, 14th level. And I think I also want to say that the Dawn of Flame one ends around there too. So this is something that could be really a cool way of continuing with those characters. But this one looks very interesting. Just like the cover art alone is sort of intriguing. And I'm looking forward to reading through these and collecting the full 3-part campaign arc for this one. I think it's going to be an awesome read. And then finally for Starfinder, I received the Starfinder Starship Operations Manual. Now, this is a book that I've been highly anticipating, and I'm surprised that I haven't seen it at my local game stores. I think 1 or 2 of them got them in, but they were already spoken for, so they never actually managed to hit the shelves. But this is one that I really want to sink my teeth into because I love the Starship Combat concept from Starfinder. And this will help flesh that out a bit more, give you some more options, and already there's things like boarding parties that they introduce here with like breaching pods that are designed to pierce a ship, and then you have like your boarding party emerge from that. It brings back the super colossal ships, which was introduced in the The very first adventure path, the Dead Suns campaign, like the final chapter actually had the characters boarding a super colossal ship. So it brings them back for actual use in starship combat and some basic information on building those. And yeah, it's just something that I'm really, really looking forward to. So this will be something that I will have a review video for up probably by the end of next week. So really looking forward to that one. All right, shifting gears over to Pathfinder. So we got some things here, starting with the Pathfinder Darklands Fire Caves expansion. So this is another set of flip tiles. Oh. There we go. So this is another set of flip tiles, and these things are always useful for, because I like to use miniatures in combat. So having these is also always going to be great. You can make maps with them. You can use them to, adjust existing maps that you might have. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I have like the Forest Perils Pathfinder flip tiles set. So this is only the second one of these that I picked up for, or that I've received for the Pathfinder role-playing game, but looking forward to showing those off in greater detail as well. All right, moving on, we have some maps here as well. So the first one is the Pathfinder Flip Mat Classics. So this is the Falls and Rapids set here. So the classics are basically just maps that they had in the past that were really popular. And they essentially are reproducing them, reprinting them under the classics banner, which is great for me because I missed out on the originals. So this gives me a chance to get them after the fact. And yeah, so this is something that just having these also makes me want to run a scenario involving, a river, the characters being swept away and, having to try to avoid going down the falls. Anyway, awesome stuff. And I will have a video showing this in full detail a little bit later on. They also sent me the Pathfinder Flip Mat Haunted Dungeons multi-pack. So the multi-packs have 2 of the full-size flip mats in there. So you can sort of see what we got on the the fronts and backs of the 2 different maps. And yeah, again, I just absolutely love these. And just having these pre-constructed dungeons is great. So that I can, if I want to design a scenario, I can just take the dungeon, the map from here, and that part's already done for me. It's just a matter of deciding, what's in there and how the descriptions of the rooms will go. So again, these are always awesome to collect, and yeah, looking forward to opening this one as well. All right, for a book, they sent me the Pathfinder Lost Omens Legends. So this has a collection of non-player characters that are introduced in here, gives you their sort of flavor text, any ones that appeared in previous adventure paths, it will actually reference that. So for people that play through them, especially like fans of the Pathfinder First Edition that are transitioning to the Second Edition, this is going to be a pretty cool book. It has some unique rules elements that these characters can introduce to the players. It could be custom spells, could be custom magic items, things along those lines. This is a book that is targeted at both players and game masters. So they don't have the stat blocks in here, which has always been an issue for certain books in the past. It bothers me less in this one because this is a book that's designed to be purchased by and sort of targeted towards anyone. And the Game Mastery Guide for Pathfinder 2nd Edition already has some pretty decent guidelines for creating NPCs in it, or creating your own custom creatures. So it'll be easy enough to use those guidelines to flesh one out if you really wanted to. But I just kind of like the idea of having, the rule stuff in here. We'll sort of, again, dive deeper into this and see, what's in here. But again, another one that I'm looking forward to. This is was sort of an understated release because I think this came out at the same time as the Advanced Player's Guide or the Game Mastery Guide. It was one of the, I think it was the Advanced Player's Guide. So it kind of got overshadowed. And I know some people that are, collectors or people that were buying Pathfinder 2nd Edition stuff or even playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition that this completely went under their radar. They weren't even aware that this one was released, so I definitely want to correct that by getting a review video out for that. So this will probably be one that will come out within the next week as well. So it'll probably be Alien on Monday, this will probably come out on Wednesday, and then the Starfinder one will probably be on Friday. That's what at least what I'm aiming for at the time that I'm recording this. But yeah, another book that I'm really interested in diving into. All right, so more Pathfinder 2nd Edition goodness. Like I said, this is 3 months worth of stuff. So we have here the Advanced Player's Guide Character Sheet Pack. Speaking of the Advanced Player's Guide from before. So this is your character sheet pack. I'm not going to go into too much here, but it has like the sheets for the individual classes that were introduced in the Pathfinder Advanced Player's Guide, as well as, I guess, some general use sheets that anyone can do that aren't class specific. It also says that there is a new, easier or sort of beginner-friendly character sheet in here, or simplified version of the character sheet. So that one I'm actually really looking forward to checking out. So that video will be out within the next couple of weeks. All right, moving on to some adventures. The first one here is the Slithering. So this is a standalone adventure. So I haven't really read too much about this one yet. Like I said, this just arrived in the mail today. Well, it technically arrived yesterday at the time that I'm recording this, but I didn't hear our intercom go off at all. So unfortunately I missed that, but went down to the UPS store to pick it up. I actually felt kind of bad because there was an older lady working behind the counter, and this was a heavy box because the only things that weren't in this box that I'm showing in this video are the two things from a different company, the alien sets there. So I warned her that it was going to be heavy, and tried to help her as best I could. With social distancing, everything makes it very difficult. But anyway, so this is a standalone adventure for characters, I think, of 5th level or above, 5th or 4th level. 5th level characters. The interesting aspect about this is that it is designed for non-humans, because the premise has some sort of curse that affects humans specifically. Now this also came out around the time of the Advanced Player's Guide, so it's something that sort of helps promote, purchasing that book and making characters like kobolds or orcs, or like the leshies, or the like hobgoblins and stuff from other books as well. So basically just non-human characters, which honestly most of the campaigns that I've run in the last few years, with the exception of my current Pathfinder 2nd Edition game, always seems to be very light on humans anyway, so it wouldn't be that big of a thing. What I actually kind of like about it is the level range has it so that you could, in theory, run this after running the Fall of Plaguestone, maybe with just a short little interlude in between to get the characters up to 5th level. But yeah, looking forward to this one as well. There is a flip mat for this as well. That wasn't included in this shipment, but I am hopefully we'll be getting that from my local game store that I still have a little bit of store credit built up with. So hopefully that'll show up by the time I get to doing the review for the adventure itself. That way I can show both of them in the same video. All right, in addition to the standalone adventure, Paizo sent me the first 3 installments of the Agents of Edgewatch Adventure Path. Now, I do have the complete adventure paths for the first 2 that came out, both the Age of Ashes and the Extinction Curse. So this here is the 3rd adventure path, and this is the first 3 installments, so that's a really good start, so that I can just focus on trying to get 4, 5, and 6. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one as well. You actually get to play as members of the City Watch, or the City Guard, in Absalon, and yeah, looking forward to that, to see how this one plays out. But yeah, looking really interesting so far. So we got the first 3 installments. So we have Devil at the Dreaming Palace, 60 Feet Under, and All or Nothing. So again, kind of intriguing. Looking forward to reading these and doing my reviews. Speaking of Adventure Path reviews, I mentioned this in an earlier video, but I just want to reiterate here. Originally, my plan was to do the Age of Ashes series and review all 6 installments of that, and then move on to doing the Extinction Curse and reviewing all 6 installments of that as well. A friend of mine wants to run the 2nd book of the Age of Ashes storyline. I've only reviewed the first one so far, and to be fair to him, because he's running it as a way of giving me a bit of a break from running games, or giving me a chance to actually play Pathfinder 2nd Edition as a player, I did promise that I was going to read that chapter until he's run it. So my plan is to actually move on to the Extinction Curse and review the 6 chapters or installments there. first, and then I'll go back to finishing my Age of Ashes review series once we move past that second chapter, and then I can focus on the rest of them. But to go along with that Extinction Curse review, Paizo also sent me the Extinction Curse Pawn Collection. So they also sent me the Age of Ashes Pawn Collection, which I have to say for that series. But yeah, so this is, the Pawn Collections are always great. So this has sort of the unique NPCs or creatures that were introduced in the Extinction Curse adventure path, which, by the way, I am really, really interested in hopefully getting a chance to run someday soon. You know, the idea of like the story itself involving these protective beacons and these creatures' plans to subject or to take them and use them for themselves. That in and of itself is actually a really interesting and cool story. But with the added twist of the characters being circus performers, I really, really like the way that they've done that. At first, I was completely ready to write that off. I thought it was kind of gimmicky and kind of, I thought it was going to end up being sort of like, just tacked on and, something that was really not necessarily well thought out or planned. But to be fair, or to their credit, Paizo actually made a very interesting and compelling system for running circus events. And when I started reading their rules for it, I found myself being immediately won over. Like at first, like I said, I was very apprehensive about it. I was probably going to pass on it, truth be told. But they sent me the first book. I did a written review on my Facebook page that you can see the description or the link in the description here. But I am going to actually go and do a full video review. It's just things were kind of rough in terms of like the height of the pandemic here in Nova Scotia, and just a lot of stuff going on all at that point in time. So I just wasn't doing a lot of video stuff at that point, but I am going to go back and actually record it as a video review. But if you want to see at least my thoughts on some of my early thoughts on it, you can check it out on the Facebook page. But yeah, really won over by it. It uses the Zulgoths, which are sort of like troglodytes, basically. They're sort of front and center, which is awesome because I feel like they're such an underutilized creature, and for them to be like the central threat is just such a refreshing thing, I guess. So again, I'm really looking forward to it, and can't wait to dive into the rest of them. And the Pawn Collection video will take place once I have reviewed the individual chapters. Again, my goal for that, starting the week after next, is to have at least one video per week dedicated to that adventure path, and then finally release the Pawn Collection video right after I do the 6th chapter review. So yeah, look forward to that. These things are great, so look forward to seeing all the creatures in here. Speaking of Pawn Collections, it's going to bring us to the last item here. This is the Pathfinder Bestiary 2 Pawn Collection. Now, I don't have the Bestiary 1 Pawn Collection, unfortunately. It's something that's just been difficult to come by. It's either been like, it was always available when I didn't have the funds for it, and as soon as I had the funds for it, the stores in my area would be sold out. It's just like the luck that I have. But hopefully I can get one of those in the very, very near future as well. But this is just, again, a thick, hefty collection of pawns here. There's 311 unique pawns in here, and several of them have multiples. So that's like just a ton of stuff here. And these are always great as a way to build up a very quick collection of creatures to use if you're using tabletop combat. The one thing about this particular set, along with the Extinction Curse and some of the other ones, is that this just has a sleeve over the actual pawns themselves. So this doesn't come with the bases. The bases are included in the Bestiary 1 collection. So, if you have that, you have the bases to put the pawns into. I do believe they also sell the bases separately. I know they did that for Starfinder, but there's also other Pawn Collection boxes out there as well that have the bases in there. So they're easy to get. I just don't have any of the official Pathfinder 2nd edition products with them. But yeah, they are so that you can get your hands on. Or if you have the Bestiary 1 set, you already have a whole bunch to work with anyway. So that concludes the last couple of days worth of mail. So again, a lot of stuff. And I want to thank, both Paizo and Free League Publishing for sending these out. It always means a lot to me, and I'm looking forward to doing these reviews, and again, hopefully raising some awareness of some of these items, as well as helping to boost some sales for some of these things. So yeah, again, thank you very much to both of those companies. And, and thank you to everyone watching, because without your support, none of this would be possible to begin with. So I cannot thank you enough for this as well. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you check out the reviews for these products as they release. So again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all your support. It's amazing, and it means the world to me, both for you, the viewers, and the companies as well that I work with. So just awesome stuff, and I will see you all next time. Take care.